I'm Liam.
I'm Wayne.
You're listening to In Film We Trust YouTube.
A place where we post clips from our recent episode.
All links down below in the description.
And now, on with the show.
Robert Rodriguez has a style what is his own at this point.
Specifically, yeah, and it sets up like this action hero. And the line I love from the trailer, it says, should I do it in my trailer voice?
You can do it.
He says, he knows the score, he gets the women, and he kills the bad guy. Isn't that just a description of how an action movie goes, really?
Well, it's like you were saying, like with the posters or something, that they're over-promising things the film can deliver.
Well, this dude he does this massive jump on a motorbike with an explosion, with a minigun on the front of the bike. This is one of the most ridiculously, gratuitously over-the-top things I've ever seen in any kind of trailer.
But does it make you want to watch the film?
Damn right it makes me want to watch the film.
Well, then it's successful.
Aye. And it does tie into the film as well, because is it Jeff Fahey?
Jeff Fahey, yes.
Jeff Fahey.
JT, was it?
JT, who was in Planet Terror, is in this as a bad guy.
Yes, he is. And, well, I'd prefer him as the bad guy than taste his barbecue sauce.
That music playing during the thing, like classic Grindhouse, I could not stop tapping my feet. Because Robert Rodriguez, as he usually does all the music for the film.
He does the music himself. And do you find with Robert Rodriguez's scores, it's very John Carpenter 1980?
It does sound like that, yeah, that kind of grinding themes, yeah.
Or even that almost blues rock he used in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Because there's a very prominent saxophone on the track.
Because can you remember in From Dusk Till Dawn, we had Tito and the Tarantula.
That was in the bar in Mexico, wasn't it?
They were actually a band, real band, Tito and the Tarantula, yes.
I really liked From Dusk Till Dawn.
It was a really good film.
Damn good film.
What did you think? Did you think it was too much two halves?
Yeah, because when it gets to that bar, like it almost changes genre entirely.
Did you find the first half was a Tarantino flick and the second half's a Robert Rodriguez flick?
Yeah, it does feel like that. It's almost like this double feature is one and one the other. So yeah,
they've already done a double feature. Where
there we go.
It was just
parallels. Something I did like else in the credits, we have a credit for the crazy babysitting twins.
They are very crazy.
They are. There's tons of little things like this in the movie that are kind of very self-aware moments.
And they're related to Robert Rodriguez.
They are, aren't they?
Yes.
Although, interesting, there's an actor in this film, Freddie Rodriguez, who isn't.
He's not.
I had to look that up because we did an interview about this film, and it's just, are you related to Robert Rodriguez? Just, no.
No.
That was it. Unless he's lying, but why would he?
Ray. Mm-hmm. Ray's a man of mystery.
El Ray. Right down
he comes to know. We get to figure out he's called El Ray.
Right down to the way he speaks as well. He speaks in that very kind of like hardball crime novel way.
He's a wrecker.
He's like, I drive a wrecker. I want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Talks like that.
Did you find this film was almost using all the cliches of action films?
Not necessarily subverts them, almost celebrates them.
I would almost say it's self-consciously cool.
It's like, haha, here's this guy with a mysterious past kind of thing. Here's the troubled cop kind of thing.
Which is a completely different approach to Tarantino's Half-Death Proof, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very different films in a way. I know they're almost celebrating similar films they were into, but it's a very much different films.
But that's good because it means they didn't just make the same movie twice and slap both of them on one poster.
Well, they were using the exploitation of 2007 when this film was released, and that was around the time of the Iraq War. So they were introducing contemporary issues to exploit, just like they would have in the 60s and 70s Grindhouse films.
Oh, so they would have worked like modern news stories into the story.
That was the intention of that.
Oh, that's cool. No, I didn't know that, no.
Well, actually, Robert Rodriguez got the idea of Planet Terror when he was making The Faculty in the 90s.
He did, because he actually said to some of his cast members he thought zombie movies were going to come back in a big way because they died down for a while, and he wrote something like a 30-page treatment.
Yes.
But I think he set it aside, and I think he was pretty pissed when zombie movies did come back, and he thought, I could have made that.
Because even on the set of The Faculty, he said to Josh Hartnett, you will be in this.
He was going to cast Elijah Wood as well.
Elijah Wood? Well, neither of them were, but they were both in Sin City, though, weren't they?
How do you compare, actually, Sin City to Planet Terror? Little aside here. I think I enjoy the story overall of Sin City more.
Yeah, because I'm quite into film noir, so even though it's a very exaggerated version of film noir...
It's almost like a kind of comic book.
Yeah, well, it's a comic book.
Yeah, leaping from the screen, yeah.
I think Sin City holds up better than this.
I think it does.
On repeated viewings.
I could watch Sin City pretty much anytime. I loved Sin City.
I love Planet Terror, but there's a point in Planet Terror where you could almost call it superficial.
I can understand where you
it doesn't depreciate with several viewings, but it also doesn't appreciate.
All
Whereas me, I had the opposite reaction to Death Proof. When I first watched Death Proof, I was a little underwhelmed with the elongated, unnecessary chatter. But the more I watched it, the more I appreciated, and the better it got for me. I think it's because it's like, all right, well, we know there's going to be these long winding conversations, so you already know that, so you're not really bored, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Also, when you're watching it again, you're noticing things you didn't notice first time around, because the first time you were distracted by like
You're thinking, oh Christ, we get the point.
what
now.
you
don't
could
have to
see is
talk
kind of like
10
superficial dialogue or
Yes.
something. Yes. Yeah, and I understand where you're going with that.
Well, what about you?
I watched it again. I thought it was. Yeah, I did like it better than the first time round. Second time round, I think I was just frustrated the first time because I was maybe wanting more to happen.
Is that Death Proof, you mean?
No, with Death Proof, yeah. With Planet Terror, when I watched it second time, I think I enjoyed it just as much second.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't really find out anything new, do you?
No.
It just kind of stays on an even keel.
Because this is more kind of over the top action sequence.
Would you call it superficial in a sense?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was deliberate. I think
Yeah.
a lot of these choices are deliberate.